Hi, I'm Blake Alexander, and this is my Module 3 Special Education Interviews for EDL 853. The first question was about child fine procedures. How do they evaluate children um, for SPED? And so in talking to the SPED teacher, or one of the SPED teachers here at my school, the first thing she said that they listen to the parents a lot. Sometimes the parents have concerns coming in. And then they do their, evaluations and observations. We do have two preschools, a regular preschool and a developmental preschool, where they observe these kids and they'll do their testing and then they come up with their recommendations. When asking the paraprofessionals about it, she said that she didn't really know much about what they do, but sometimes they'll ask for their input or their observations, and they kind of talk with the special ed teachers, but they don't really have the any part of the real process besides just their input and their observations. When asked my administrator, she talked about the developmental preschool as a good way, and that the only other thing she really does is discuss it with parents. Once she's talked to the special education department or when the parent has a concern, she does a lot of the communicating with parents. And it says, how do you work with regular ed teachers with students when it comes to students with special needs? The SPED teacher is probably the most of the three that's involved with them, or involved with them the most. They're developing IEPs. They're working with classroom teachers on carrying out those IEPs and ideas they use in their classroom. They also, our special education teachers also do a lot with coming on calls to room to help students when they need something, or they're having a behavioral issue. If they're in the SPED department, our SPED teachers will work with those teachers to come in and help. I think that our paraprofessionals, I asked her, how she did these things, and I feel like she was the one that was probably involved with the regular teachers the most. She's said that she would just do anything that the classroom teacher wanted to do, but her main thing was helping that student do what everybody else is doing and managing that child's behavior, and carrying out any of the day-to-day plans for that student that the regular classroom teacher isn't quite able to provide because she's working with all the students. And then my principal, she just said the main thing was seeing that that the classroom teacher had all their resources, that they didn't need anything, and then it was mostly just making sure, discussing with the classroom teachers about her vision and how it's being carried out in the school, and her vision for the special education department is being carried out by that teacher, was the main reason, was the main communication between our principal and our regular classroom teachers. So it says, what characteristics do they seek in an aspiring administrator with regards to special education? Our special education teacher said the main thing was support. They're looking for somebody who's going to work with them, talk with them, who's going to be somebody there to answer questions and encourage them when they're doing a good job. And she said, special education is tough. It kind of can wear on your mind a little bit, and having a supportive principal and somebody that is kind of understanding really helps out with that. When I asked our paraprofessional, the first thing they said is that they're available, to answer questions and help them out. And also, she wanted her administrator to be friendly, somebody that they could talk to, somebody that they can confide in a little bit and they can see things from their perspective. And then for our administrator, she just said that you got to be open and available to help and answer questions for the special education department when it's needed, and you got to be able to learn on the fly a little bit, because coming as a principal, there's so many jobs, so many things that you have to do. You're not going to know them all right away, and you got to be willing to learn and know the resources and where you can look things up for laws and regulations that you might come across. And what is the most challenging part of their job when dealing with SPED. When talking to the SPED teacher, she said the biggest thing was her caseload and IEPs. She said she had a lot of IEPs to do. It was a lot of time doing paperwork, and there was a lot of time spent in meetings. And she said besides that, the other challenging part is just, student behavior. Because some students, it's repetitive, the same thing every day, trying to correct behaviors or help them out. And she goes, it kind of can wear on you. When asked the paraprofessional, she said that it was just the day-to-day behavior. It was, spending time with that kid doing the same thing every day. She goes, it's just challenging. And sometimes you got to get down like it's, what you're doing is not working or they're not improving. And then for the administrator, like most administrators, she said time. That's always challenging. She doesn't always have the time to be able to talk to people and communicate with them like she feels like she should, so she would know everything that's going on in the SPED department. And then also doing evaluations of all teachers, not just the SPED department, eats up a lot of time. And that all goes back to the time issue. How do they work effectively with parents for special needs children? A special education teacher that I talked to said the biggest thing was communication, about starting early. Like right when they get somebody in the SPED program, they try to build a relationship with that parent. And they want to always just not be, negative. They want to be positive, but they all, at the same time, they want to be honest. When they are communicating with that parent, they feel like she said, it's important to listen to that parent because a lot of times they see things that, the teachers might not see at school. And then once you start that early, she said, as time goes on, you'll have a better relationship. They're going to feel more comfortable with you. You're going to feel more comfortable with them. And as time goes on, you'll be able to, you'll be more comfortable talking to them about problems. They'll be more comfortable coming to you with their problems. The paraprofessional says she's not involved as much with parents. She doesn't call them about their students. But she says that she always tries to be friendly with parents, and she's from this neighborhood and knows a lot of the parents and talks to them a lot. But as far as like contacting them, she says she leaves that more up to the special education teacher and the classroom teachers. And for the administration, when it comes to special education, she said it was more that she just wants to be seen and be available and come to meetings. But really it's our special education department that is working more effective, working more with parents in the whole process. And what is the most rewarding part of the job? Of course, she said it's for special education. She said it's working with the children, seeing them grow, seeing them develop. There's always something that will put a smile on her face. And then also the people that she works with. Our special education team is pretty tight. They get along really well. She said that she has a lot of fun working with her coworkers. When it comes to our paraprofessional, she said the most rewarding part is the same thing as the most challenging part, dealing with the kids. One thing, she was like, one thing that will make you laugh one day will be the same thing that will make you cry the next. So she said that's, the most challenging and rewarding part of the job. And then our administrator, she said what she really likes is seeing the positive change in the school students and staff, seeing stuff grow, seeing something that you're a part of kind of prosper. She said that's her most rewarding part of the job. What advice do you have for first-year administrators? Our special education teacher, she said, learn the laws and build relationships with the SPED team. Having a great team makes it a lot easier for everybody else. And don't be afraid to ask for help if you need help or don't know something. Our paraprofessional, she said, to be understanding and put yourself in our shoes. As a PE teacher, I see our paraprofessionals and what they do every day. And as an administrator, I think that is important to understand what they're doing every day because it's kind of different than what everybody else is doing. And then as an administrator, she said to take care of yourself and be ready to learn as you go. Know your resources. Know where to find that information. She has the head elementary person who oversees all the elementary school principals that was our principal here at this school last year. She asked her to go to, and then she said that's kind of her her go-to resource if she has any questions. And I think that's important too. And then so for our summary, our reflection, some stuff that's really important that stood out to me is you got to have good resources. You got to know where to find information, and you got to know who to ask when you need help. Be able to look from all people's points of view. Be able to see what the special education teachers are doing, what the paraprofessionals are doing, and what, as an administrator, what I should be doing. And understanding the roles that everybody plays to have a great special education team and to provide really good education. It takes everybody. And that's kind of the main thing that, reflecting on this assignment, that's what I find. For evaluation, biggest thing is to be able to provide, some answers or know where to find answers when dealing with special education. And then the main thing that I think that kind of came across the board from everybody I interviewed was to be available and be supportive. Be there to help them and guide them, and be available and comfortable to talk to for them. And I feel like that was like the main thing that kind of came across, is that if they felt comfortable and they know that you were supportive and they could come to you, it made their job a lot easier. And then projections, as a principal, as a future principal, and the things I want to make sure I do is be a good leader, be somebody to talk to, be somebody who can guide these people. And I'm going to be the one in charge of this special education department, making sure that everybody's doing their job to carry out my school's vision, so that our special education department can be successful. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.